The fact is, man, the internet is just full of people and channels and social media creators that only present perfection. Everybody hits roadblocks, everybody makes mistakes, everybody screws stuff up. This guy who don't know what he's doing built himself a house, and it's gonna work. Now, is it perfect? Is everything just perfect? No. Welcome back to Peak Hobby Homestead. My name's Lucas. We're sharing our hobbies on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky, and today we're putting doors in the tiny house. We are almost dried in, and I am excited about it. I'm gonna get this opening prepped and try to get this French door put in tonight. So, you know, when I'm building and I'm learning, I want to make mistakes. And I've made a few mistakes here and there, but nothing too major. But I'm about to reveal to you my first bonehead move of the build. And it's a pretty good one. So when I ordered my doors and windows, of course, your typical door, the rough opening height, is going to be 82 inches. And I set everything in here to 82-inch height, the top of my windows, everything, so it would all be uniform, nice and neat. Except, I think I mentioned this in a video a while back, somehow during framing my back wall, I mismeasured and I set my header heights to 84 inches instead of the 82 that's on all the other walls. So already I'd probably be fired off of most framing jobs. But the rest of the openings, I set at 82.5 inches. Well, so I'm 1.5 inches off. And I think what I've done is probably ran the tape to the top of the bottom plate instead of the bottom of the bottom plate. And I got 84-inch high headers all the way across. Well then, when I ordered all my doors and windows, somehow I managed to order a short French door for the back. That's meant for an 80-inch rough opening. So now, I've got a 4.5-inch gap above my door that I'm gonna have to frame in. I mean, I could take the door back, but at this point I've got it in the hole, and you know, it is what it is. It was my mistake. So I'm just going to adapt, which means I'm gonna have to frame this in. So I'll cut me a sheet of OSB and the stuff I need to frame that in. I'll get it framed in. My house wrap was folded under so I can extend it on down and then put flashing tape on, and this will be okay. It's just, you know, a setback because of me making a dumb mistake in my measuring. What are you gonna do? Fix it, I guess. Okay, so to fix my framing error, I cut 2 2x4s the length of the door opening, and I tied them together with a piece of OSB on the outside. I nailed it all in there with a bunch of nails, and then I put Type-R butyl tape to seal the seam in the OSB and tie the house wrap back into it so we're all sealed up and back in business. Now the header is the structural support, so these running parallel are no big deal and they're not carrying any load, so that doesn't really matter that this is set up the way that it is. It'll be good for nailing trim and drywall and everything too. So it works. Just, you know, sharing a moment of stupidity and failure with you, because that's what I do. All right, well, we're back up here to put in the last couple of doors. I almost had this one finished yesterday, but got a little bit sidetracked by family coming around and everything. So this morning I came up here and I drilled these inserts for the door latches for this side. So you just install these striker plates and drill a hole up in the top and the bottom so that this door can be pinned closed. got her latched in place. And then out here, I sealed up along the bottom of this plate. So of course I put silicone down underneath that plate, and then I run a bead of silicone tight against the flashing tape that was already there. After I got that all put on, then I covered it with a flashing tape that comes all the way up and wraps up underneath here. So we are like tightly sealed all the way around. So I think this is gonna be a pretty good install. Got to order me some doorknobs. I think I'm gonna get some of those doorknobs and deadbolts that have the keypad, because we have lots of family comes to visit, and you know, we won't have to exchange keys and all that good stuff. We can just give the code and move on. So what do you think? That's a pretty good idea. Like all the Airbnbs we stay in, that should work good. All right, so the next door I've got to put in, I really like this door. This is gonna be sharp. It goes on the front, of course. Should be a pretty easy install. So I'm gonna start getting this doorway prepped and we'll get it knocked out. So I was up here working this morning, and of course we had our video release while we were up here working. 7 a.m. is when I usually put out videos. And so comments roll in, and sometimes I'll pause work and read comments or answer comments. And a friend of the channel, Matthew, that watches pretty much all of our videos, he commented about how I point out the little imperfections, and he said, I really think that if you didn't point them out, nobody would notice. And in a lot of cases that may be true, but I actually point out imperfections and mistakes on purpose. And it's not to put myself down or to get sympathy or anything like that. The fact is, man, the internet is just full of people and channels and social media creators that only present perfection. That makes people feel like I can't achieve that, so I'm not gonna do anything. I've been learning guitar for almost 40 years. And every time I get on the internet and watch these 8-year-olds play, I'm like, why do I even bother? That's how it makes me feel when I see what level of perfection they can achieve in such a short time. But man, that's the wrong attitude to have. It's great that people can be so good at things when they really are. But when you're cutting and editing and making everything look perfect and ignoring all of the things that didn't go right, that's not fair to everybody else. And so I just try to share it. And I make a lot of mistakes, and I think some people probably think, well, you know, he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's fine, because to the professionals, I probably don't. But, man, this guy who don't know what he's doing built himself a house. And it's gonna work. Now, is it perfect? Is everything just perfect? No, but it's gonna be great. We're gonna love it. And that's why I share the imperfection, because everybody hits roadblocks, everybody makes mistakes, everybody screws stuff up. Just like the silly mistake I made above the French door. And my first thought was, man, I don't want anybody to see how dumb I am. But it is what it is, and it can be fixed. And when this is done, nobody but you and me are gonna know that that's behind the wall, underneath all the trim and all the pretty. When we finish it up, it'll be just fine. You know, I was standing out here filming this, and I noticed that yesterday in the heat, when I was running my flashing tape along the bottom, which you don't really even need to do, but I run my flashing tape along the bottom of the window there, well, it got bunched up and I've left nails exposed. And so I'm gonna climb back up there and cover that over in a minute. All of this kind of stuff happens. Everybody has to go back and fix things and you know, make it as good as they can make it. So I just share it all to let everybody know, get out and do something. Do the best you can, and then when you make mistakes, you just fix them and move on. So as I was saying, I share my mistakes. And I stand here very upset with myself because I did it on all 3 doors. I messed up the openings, and I don't know what I was thinking. But, I mean, the rough opening sizes are right there on the app. I didn't have the doors here, but I mean, it's pretty standard that you go about 2 inches past the door dimensions in order to frame your rough opening. But 38¼ inches is how wide I'm supposed to be. And I framed my door opening 36 inches for some dumb reason. And I knew, and I did it with both exterior doors. So I've got to fix the framing, which is something I can do, you know, but I'm gonna have to build new headers and the whole works. Well, one new header. The rake wall doesn't have a load on it, so there's no header on that. But yeah, I gotta reframe these openings because of my own stupidity. And I wish I had measured it and checked it before I squirted the silicone all around that. But anyway, I'm going to cut this back and fix it. Is what it is. Yeah, this is gonna set us back a little bit. We had plans today. We were gonna work on the boat and fix a few things on it after we come up here and just spent an hour or two putting in these doors and moving on. So this threw a wrench in our plans for sure, but we're gonna get it. So I'm cutting the nails loose. I gotta take this header out, build me a new one that's long enough for what we're doing. I'm expanding the door over this direction, and so I've about got things cut loose, but I'm gonna cut a full stud, the king stud, and get it back in here before I cut anything else loose, just because I don't want to have like a 4-foot span with no support under the roof while I take this loose and get it all squared away. It's frustrating, but this is just part of it, especially when you're not working off of architectural drawings. You're working out of your head, trying to film and everything else. I mean, it just is what it is. I made a mistake. Now I gotta fix it. So I more or less shut the camera off to give myself some time to get back on track and settle my frustration with myself. And now we've got the opening just about framed back in. I've got to go build the header that goes in here, and then I'll have to cut out the plywood to match the hole size, and we'll be back on track. I'll have to put flashing tape around it and get it sealed up, and then we'll be ready to put the door in and move on to the next one that I have to widen out. It won't be as hard. It doesn't have a header because it's on that rake wall with no load, but still, it's gonna be, I also haven't even cut it out yet in the plywood, so I'll get it sorted out. We're gonna get there. I'm starting to settle down a little bit. All right, guys, now there's always a silver lining, and the silver lining is, y'all remember that busted rafter, the 2x10 rafter that I bought that I couldn't use on the building because it had a big crack in the middle of it? Well, fortunately, it has 2 good ends on it, and I can build my new header out of it. I don't have to go buy more lumber. So, hey, we're back on track. All right, bring all the tools back in. We'll need the nail gun first. Almost back together, guys. I'm feeling better. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Dad. We got super crust today.
Yeah, I think so. Watch yourself, I'm about to fire it up. All right, folks, about an hour and a half later, we're back where we started this morning. Only I think our opening is big enough now.
Hopefully.
Progress. Maybe we should measure that. I think I should have measured before I got this far. All right, well, we got the door all sealed out with flashing tape and got our silicone back in place, and I'm nervous now. I'm gun shy. We'll get the air compressor built up and we'll be ready to throw this thing in. Hopefully it'll. You ready?
I hope. Okay, it's in.
Man, it's like it was made for it. The opening, it's just like perfect fit. It's just like it was designed. Oh, okay. All right. See my level? All right. Fit. Gaps are good all the way around. Finally, the front door. I like it. I like it a lot. Looks good. Took way more work than it should have because, well, yeah, I screwed up. But life goes on.
Kick it!
Hang on.
Kick it! Kick it! That was no fun.
Man, that worked really well.
That was no fun. You should have kicked it.
Look at. Well, I didn't want to rip the house wrap off the house though. But look, man, it cut the house wrap and all. That worked really well. All right. Right there. Come up with it.
I'm not excited to see
Man, we're going to get on me, get away, don't get against that. We're gonna squat down and grab the very bottom of it and then raise it up in there. Okay, ready?
Go! Oh, dude, this is
Put it in there, there you go. Now up.
so down.
We're in.
Okay, hold it. I'll go inside and hold it.
Yeah, do that and then I'll get a level, come around. Check level across the top of it.
Oh, segment skivity. Segment skivity.
Pretty well perfect. As I was reading comments today, lots of them were saying, tell Caden a good job from me. So you need to get on there and read some comments because people appreciate you working hard and helping me build this house.
I want fist bump you, but I'm on the door right
Yeah,
now.
don't right now. And the last door is installed. Caden is putting our little trim buttons over the screws. And we are in business. I want to show you something real quick. Caden, let me hop in here for just a second. I want to show him something. Open this up. Should have ordered my doorknobs already. But when I install a door, they send you 3 screws that go in your hinges, which is nice. But they always leave the hole open that's on the outer edge. Well, it will barely hit the stud. And if you get off just a little bit, you'll miss. So I always move a screw out of the inner spot on the hinge to right here, and then use this screw as my holding screw. So you've got 3 on that side, but I don't feel like that's enough. So I always open up this trim right here, and I'll drill me a screw in right inside that to where it's covered up, and then I do the same thing. After I get it shimmed, I put one in the top, one in the middle, and one down there in the very bottom, so that this door is secure. It ain't going nowhere unless the wall does. And let's hope that don't happen. All right, French doors installed, windows all around. Got our cool little shaker door here. I really like that style of door, and it's gonna go well with our black metal barn dominium look. And then we got our end door here that's got a nice blind in the glass that will open and close, and yeah. Whew, it's a relief to have this thing dried in. Man, I'm excited about it. Hey, Caden.
What?
Come here. So, Caden.
Yep.
The house is dried in, protected from the rain. What do you think?
It's insane that we did this in less than 2 months.
That's right, less than 2 months, almost 2 months exactly. Today was the first day we put, tomorrow would be 2 months exactly since we put the first board on the foundation. So we framed this house and dried it in less than 2 months. Just me and Caden. I'm pretty proud of it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, getting to see us put the doors in the house. It was not what I expected today, and I'm pretty embarrassed by the mistake that I made, but we're fixed.
The mistake that you made like a month ago.
2 months ago, month and a half ago anyway. But it is what it is. I mean, you live and learn. I've always been one that I kind of work maybe a little too fast and miss some details, and it causes me more work. That's just life, but we get there. No harm. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time.
Get outside and enjoy God's creation. It's beautiful out here.
Y'all have a good day.